morning and welcome to another episode of the Profit Point Show, where we talk about investments and business, and today we're not an exception. We start off with the stock market segment and we go over to the business segment, then also the sector segment where we talk about fish farming. All of this stuff are after the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to the Profit Point Show, and this is the stock market segment. And I have in the studio Bruce Omodion, investment analyst from Invest Data Limited. I'm always trying to say PLC.
No, PLC, yes.
PLC.
We're working on it.
That's
yes,
good.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on board.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, so let's begin with the MPC meeting, the resulting effects of the meeting. Like we said last week, I said this, I wasn't expecting any changes from them. And
which I echo that
no,
the economy is still struggling, and the purpose of adjusting interest rate for the first is just to provide a cheaper fund that will run the economy. And that is, if you listen to the governor, he said they can adjust up or down at this point, because if they adjust up, they've not achieved the target they have set, and also what they've achieved so far, they are just going to rubbish it. For that, let them still watch and take time. But he has something that's very important, that now the fiscal authority and the money should work together to finance projects that will also bring us past out of the recession, which is a good decision. For the part of the outcome of the MPC meeting has started already on the capital market. You see that today, that day that the communicate, the market moved about almost 1.2%. Yesterday, the market still gained almost above. It tells you that people are looking at where you can make quick money now. That even if they want to go and invest the cheap money, it take longer time to make money. But if you're investing, especially in those stocks that has a good dividend yield, you're going to make money. I see that between now and the end of the earnings season, market should oscillate small, people take profit, but the factor driving the market has changed that.
All right, thank you very much, Amber. So let's go over to the gainers and losers. As of yesterday's close on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we had Chi PLC getting 10% up, Guinea Insurance up 15%, Champions Beauty and Lasaco. And on the losers stats, we have Skyway Aviation, Cornerstone Insurance, Caviton, Nevasa Insurance, and FTN Coco. So if I have to look at these two, Champions Beauty, it's been a while we saw Beauty.
Champions has been on the gainer stats for a while now, since
but it didn't make top 5.
Top 5, no. But the good thing is that since the information that Heineken is acquiring about 80% of the company, the price has been on the upside, and that their target to even to buy at 2 naira 68 kobo, almost at the brand. That is why I say the price has been up since, from 1 naira 3 kobo to this price, because they know that is the target people are setting. And when you see Heineken coming into Champions Brewery, it's a plus for them. And also they have about 68% of Nigeria brewery, and bringing the two companies just to enlarge their, the market share. That's what I see that they were trying to do. Then imagine the two, they enlarge their market share. But good thing again is that when it comes to brewery, as the economy is still struggling, that sector is also struggling. If you look at their top line for almost 5 years, that means that it has been flat. Not only Nigeria brewery, not only Champion Brewery, all the brewing companies have been struggling in terms of sales. For me, until they add more thing or they bring on that thing, people can see yes, but for investors should also be very careful. I'm not expecting dividend much from that sector, because when we are not posting positive results or we are not getting, we also pay a small dividend. For me, investors should look the way that there is potential, like the agriculture sector, the bank and all that.
But there's a saying that when we are happy, we drink. When we are sad, we drink. Maybe it's a case of
it's a nice liquidity.
Yeah. Well, but even in the brewery sector, we have the premium ones and we have
the cheap ones. Yeah.
So it might be a case of peak versus cowbell in those days. Yeah. Maybe it's time they look towards
making it more cheaper for
cheaper brands. Yeah. To actually draw in the mass market.
It's possible. Yeah. That is the step International Brewery took when they merged about almost 3 different breweries together. But since then, they still posting that it's not enlarging your market share that matters most. It's what that people have, the strength, their purchasing power You know, because when people have money, you can buy now, but when you don't have money, you are thinking of stupid other things, you drink less.
Then you just move Peter to God and drink water.
And drink water and call on God.
Okay, let's go over to the results. We have a few of them here. Let's start with Cadbury. Cadbury released their 2020 unaudited account full year, and the revenue came down by 10%, moving from 39.33 billion to 35.41 billion. And profit after tax came down by 84%. If we look at this, this is definitely not a fantastic result, but then comparing it to other companies that are their peers now, I'm not talking of the flour mills, you know, I don't see those ones as their direct peer. If you look at the results of Unilever unaudited period 2020, revenue was actually down also by 1.5. I mean, revenue was up. No, the revenue was slightly up though, yeah. But profit after tax was negative. So I'm just wondering, is it a sectorial thing, or something is just wrong with this too? We've not seen Nestle 2020 results, yeah. But even Nestle is a way bigger boy compared to this, because Nestle is multi products, yeah, as compared to these other two. Yeah, so comparing Nestle to Unilever or Cadbury may not be like comparing orange to orange, because one has much more. So you want to pick Milo,
but you have to do that
compared to Cadbury.
You have to do that because they are in the same sector, the same consumer goods, but only that you just said one is bigger than the other. Simple, but they are the same sector, servicing the same market.
But why do you think Cadbury is struggling? That one company that seems to be struggling.
I would just pick out just one immediately. When you have less product line, your target market is small, or your market you are reaching is small. Cadbury just have the Bonvita and so-called Tom another different sweet.
Yes, Tom.
No.
Tom is a long time.
And they now have different color now. What they did, instead of the black, they now have the red, orange, and all those.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But the good thing is that their market is small. When you have only Bonvita, and you know when they were still having a lockdown, border was closed, you were not taking their products outside the shop, destination, and they sell in the neighboring countries. And now that it's locked down, the border was closed, there was no access to go. But with the border closure, we expect that this year is fine, but Cadbury should also go and do. I say let them go back to their research department or room to do more, because their product is too small. If you want to really grow your earnings, you need to branch out or launch a new product that you can enter another new market. For Cadbury, they are still struggling. And but the funny thing is that in the previous year, we were able to pay dividend, for one was 32 kobo, one was 42 kobo, 2018 and 2019. But with this number, I don't see what is coming up. But these are not audited, but I don't. You can't change it. This one audited for full year 20,
no
2020.
Miracle.
Like we're expecting to see the audited. Well, now it's not audited. But for me, if you're in Cadbury at 9 naira, you should start exiting and go for another stuff, because the dividend yield will be small if they're going to pay anything.
And the capital appreciation is also not so encouraging. Okay, let's look at Okumo Oil on audited 2020. Okumo Oil, I just love this stock. I shouldn't be passionate, but this stock has been impressive since the time they did this bonus, one for one bonus, and 7 naira dividend.
And the price touched 120.
I just went from 20 naira to what? No. And then, of course, they're in the sector. Agri-sector is enjoying now, then agri-sector as a sector itself. People will always eat, right? So their revenue actually went up by 24.06%, moving from 18.87 billion to 23.41 billion. And then their profit after tax also went up by 43.34%. I must say, I am not surprised. No, I would have been shocked if they came with a negative year.
But by all standards, the result is okay. If you look at the earnings, ratios and all, growing your earnings, your top line by anything above 15% is okay. Now you are growing almost 24. The bottom line, which is the earning, which investors are looking at, the profit after tax, is up. That tells you that they are doing well. Fine. Also, relate the price with the numbers, can still support, and dividend can still come. But at this point, like I said, the trading pattern on the exchange has changed. Now that we have more local investors playing the market. Before now, when foreign investors were having about 70%, 75% of their market, whenever there's any shake internationally or Nigeria, the way they always pull out their money, the market will just be bleeding. But since around middle of 2020, that the PFAs in Nigeria, the pension organizations now gradually took over the market. And I think that the market is a bit stable, that we can plan with our market now. Knowing that the CBN policy is part of what made them more
confident.
Yes, because of the policy. But going forward, between now and the middle of this year, if the policy is sustained, they might still be in the market. But also, because of the nature of their fund, also dividend playing, people. But if you look at the yield that will come from stock like Komu, is very small, because the stock is about almost 93 naira, and 94 naira paying you dividends of 4 naira. See, the yield there is very small, and that's why in 2020, toward the end of the year, around the last quarter, all these big cap stocks are the ones that put the market over, that we recorded about the best market in the world. Out of the 93 tracked exchange in the world, were the best. Fine, but from January to date, the pattern has changed. Both those small low cap stocks, the medium and the dividend paying stock, are the ones not topping the gainer star, which is good for the market. But now, as an investor, don't just follow because the price is high. Look at, if you want to pay for dividend, investing for dividend, what is the yield there? That's why you need to look at those companies that have yield that is above 7%. Because if in Treasury B, we're having about 3.7 for a whole 364 days, and we are doing investment for just less than 2 months or 4 months, having 7% yield, it's better. I see that is not going to sustain the market between now and the earning season. For investors, the numbers are good, but look at where you can make more dividend.
Yeah, well, what we know of Vekoma Oil is, aside from the fact that the market seems to like that stock.
Yes, because it's partly what we call one of the defensive stocks.
So it's a stock that probably might bring in dividend. Dividend yield might be small, of course, it's going to be small, but then do you have capital appreciation?
Yes, I agree with you.
Did they not pay more than just 4 naira,
I agree with you, but for people that are looking for value, the idea of going for capital appreciation and looking for value, you need a good stock that you can enter that.
Are you saying Okomo can grow again?
No, can it go to 200 naira?
Who knows? Who knows? Airtel is what now? We never thought it would
we know the sentiment beyond Airtel because Airtel has a dual listing.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with you here. Time will tell.
No problem.
When is Prisco's results coming?
No, Prisco is also, you should know that will also be good. Looking at what happened in livestock, it shows that sector is enjoying government detriment of policy. If CBN has cut interest rates for all those call them critical sectors from 9% to 5%. That means if you also look at their financial cost for all of them, it has dropped. Say that those policies also helping them to put this number. If you look at the financial cost for livestock, is down. For Kumu is down already. Those that came to the market, it means that CBN moved to provide cheaper funds. It's also impacting the economy, and it's a sign that the numbers we are seeing already is giving us insight how full year results will be. For me, I'm not worried again. That means market will still go up, even surpass the height of 2017. Because if the numbers are coming as unaudited, are giving us insight that these numbers are good, that means we're likely to see a better dividend. Which I told them earlier that when economy was locked down in first quarter, right, April, May, when the results came in that half year, results were better. To tell you that our managers, even that's why the economy is still struggling, are becoming more better managers, and we are seeing better numbers. If that is achieved at the end of 2020, that gives us insight that economic recovery will be fast in 2021. Because this corporate earnings will give you insight what is happening. Before we see the GDP number, the corporate earnings tell us, yes, we're moving to the right way. But the numbers I've seen so far, the one from Flour Mill, the one from Livestock, the one from Julius Berger, the one from Unilever, these are numbers that there's improvement on this number. So that we're expecting a better number, which investors should start preparing to know where can I put my money now, because this number gives you insight what you expect from the market.
Yeah, Flour Mill Q3, that's Q3 2020, their full year is not yet out, but revenue also went up by 31.14%, and profit after tax went up by 90.93%. The mills generally, they've been performing well.
Since 2020. Yeah,
it shows that, I don't know, maybe people are eating more bread, or they're using, there are so many things to use flour. Don't mind, it's not just bread.
Actually, because wheat was not available, cost will increase. I know when there's jack up in price, it also reflects on like what we're seeing.
Substitute.
Yeah, what we're seeing in the petroleum sector or the oil and gas, because of little adjustment in fuel price, it's going to reflect, no matter it's small, it's going to reflect on their bottom line. This flour related businesses, you can see the one that came from Honeywell, the one that came from National Nigeria Flour, these numbers are different. I think they are not operating in the Nigerian market. Tells you that there's something going in for them. For me, like as I said, I should tell you what to expect. As an investor, this is time for you to be designing now. Where should I put my money? If I'm here, that's why I say if you have not gotten our 10 golden stock, this is the time for you to look at it. See if I can now reposition my portfolio to realign with that 10 golden stock, where I can make money. Because out of the 10 golden stock we speak now, about 6 or 7 of them have surpassed the target for the year, and we have not spent up to 40 trading days in 2020, and what we have forecast for the whole year, 5 of them, 6 of them have made it. I mean, you as an investor should look at such a 10 golden stock and start aligning your portfolio and that line.
All right, few minutes to go. Let's preview industrial sector 2021. Just what should we expect from this sector?
We expect that since the government has increased their capital expenditure, we're going to pass on all those industrial goods.
What are the stocks there?
The Dangote, the BOA, and the
cement.
And the
But they performed well last year.
Yes, no, but now the adjustment was also a plus for them. And now that Dangote has also taken some roads to do, using his own cement, and at the end of the day, going to let it from his tax, it's a plus for him. That will boost performance. And also, if you look at the yields in that sector, for me, it's the time for people to look at where they should put their money. Especially when you look at Dangote, look at BOA, look at Lafarge. Lafarge is, for me, I call it is mispriced. I would not say undervalued, mispriced. When someone is mispriced, that means it's selling below what it's supposed to be. As an investor, if you are collecting 12, 16 naira from a company that is selling at 250, and you're collecting 1 naira 70 kobo, but selling for almost 80 naira, and you're expecting a dividend of even 1 naira 50 kobo or 180, but so that is selling below 40 naira, you should know where it should be at this time. No, the yield will be high, and also that sector has potential because as far as government has increased their spending, and this time for you to drive any economy, you must drive towards your infrastructure development, and that is area that they are supplying things that will help us to build our infrastructure. For me, that sector will have a good prospect for investors that are designing to, but not just following bad wagons. You should know why you are investing and how long you stay in the market. These are the things should guide you at this point.
What's your thought, Ambrose, not from an analyst point of view, from your personal point of view of Dangote doing roads? I mean, he had the option. When I say, then it's not Dangote as a person, Dangote, the company, they have the option, because there are more than one, to actually pay tax or do something then is netted from the tax. And if you look at the roads, they've been built, fantastic roads.
Solid, yeah, I like that.
And I keep wondering, I was telling someone, should government just tell corporate organizations to, you know what, 50% of your tax, repair road or do light, then pay the 50%, because this corporate seems to be able to do it better.
Because also they want their corporate image to be maintained. That is when corporate company is doing something, even a building, you want that to be solid. Because tomorrow,
that's what I'm saying. Should government just allow these companies to take over lights, water, or something?
If you go and see the road that governments are constructing today, after the first lady, let's wait for the next day. That road is
makeup now, find it. Ambrose, I want to live here with my 2 legs. I don't want to be carried.
You do.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thanks for coming.
Yeah,
all right. This was the end of this segment, Stock Market. We go on break, and when we return, we focus on business segments, where we talk about security protocols for your business. After the break, stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to the Profit Point Show, and this is the business segment, and we are talking about security protocols for your business. I have in the studio Mr. Funny Shodipo, a security expert, and also the PRO, Police Community Relation Committee, Southwest Nigeria. How are you, sir? Good morning. Thanks for coming on board.
I'm doing very great. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here once again.
You're welcome. All right, so let's talk about the general definition of security protocols.
Okay, thank you very much. When we look at security protocols, we are talking about steps that we take to secure a particular environment, looking at where we work and some other places we go to, the protocols that we engage in, things we engage in to make sure that we are safe in those areas. Protocols in itself, we look at that security, it's in two phases. We have the cyber protocols, and then we have the physical one. So whatever steps we take to make sure that everything we do, we are secured and we don't endanger ourselves or other people is what we call the protocol, a security protocol.
Okay. From a business perspective, what are the areas now that business owners, organizations should actually have security protocols in?
Thank you very much. It depends on the kind of business you do. For instance, for people who are into businesses that has to do with online, they have database online, they have a website, mostly financial institutions. It's very important that cyber security is given a top priority, especially nowadays where we have a lot of cyber attacks, where we have young, negatively young youths who come up with a lot of softwares to attack database of big companies. So the cyber security must be prioritized. You must protect the information of your customers. You must protect your transactions. You must put in place measures to ensure that whatever you do, you don't get strangers to access your database. Because once that is done, you will expose so many things you do in your company, and it will not all go well at all. Now, when we talk about the physical security, then we talk about the steps you take to protect your business environment. That's where we talk about the perimeter fencing. We talk about gates, erecting a gate. We talk about having security guards on ground. We talk about having security cameras to capture whatever happens in your business environment when you are not around, and even when you are around. So when we look at it in these two areas, we understand that both work hand to hand. If what you do has nothing to do with the internet, then you focus more on the physical protocol, where you must ensure that the safety of your customers is prioritized, where you ensure that customers have the confidence to come in and transact business with you. I think security plays a huge role in survival of every business, because for instance, nobody wants to invest in a company where they know that security has no meaning to them. Everybody is looking for security of his or her investment. So when you look at both sides, you agree with me that both cyber and physical security plays important role, and we must take every step to ensure that as businessmen and women, we must take every step to ensure that we work tirelessly to secure our business environment.
Okay, you know, sometimes I wonder, especially the banks, right? There's so many scams. Log in here for your BVN, your NIN, and I keep wondering, how do these scammers have access into a bank security? I mean, a bank, you expect the top notch. Is it from a perspective of employment? Now, I'm not pointing onto the banks now. From recruitment, when you want to recruit, how can you ensure that the people that you have in-house can actually combat those people outside that are ready to attack your system?
I think most of our financial institutions and other sensitive organizations, most of them, yes, they take steps to protect their data, but we must understand that human beings, we develop every day. As you develop your business, so the enemies are also developing their strategies. So it calls for the point that at intervals we must check, we must upgrade, we must look and okay, what do we need to improve upon in terms of how we protect our database. What do we need? Do we need to you know, to re-strategize? Do we need to call on experts to help us at least come up with an improved software? I think this thing has to do with software. And I want to tell you, most Nigerian youth, they are very young, dynamic, and creative. But unfortunately, a lot of them are, you know, using this energy on negative whatever. And we are saying that if Nigerians, especially the youth, can channel their creativity to positive adventures, Nigeria will be one of the greatest countries in the world. As I'm telling you, as I'm sitting here, I want to assure you, we have brains in this country. If you look outside, you see, look at the medical sector, you see Nigerian doctors doing well, performing unbelievable operations, and you look at our young ones coming up with different things, you know, hacking into different platforms. But unfortunately, we have not worked on their morals. Because if we have moral discipline, we know that all these things are meant to be channeled to the positive. So the banks, for instance, now, you ask, for instance, when WhatsApp recently were doing two-step verification, and you see all these hackers also up their game. And now what they do is to attack a platform admin. Once they attack the platform admin, they take control of the WhatsApp forum platform, and they begin to drop all sorts of messages. So then we are now saying that if you are a platform admin, yes, you must make sure you protect your account. You must make sure you do everything to protect your account. So basically, the banks needs to up their game. The bank needs to have to recruit experts, and those experts must go along as things develop. For instance, if you are using software 001, maybe in another few months or whatever, you can have software 002. So if they are in software 003 and you are still in software 001, definitely you'll be prone to attacks. So these are things that institutions must make sure they work on, and recruit capable hands who can secure their database effectively.
Interesting. I'm just thinking, maybe they need to start recruiting these hackers. If these hackers can actually think, I mean, you, in your comfort of your office, you thought this is perfect, and some kid somewhere obviously punches a hole into it.
Yeah.
I think that person should be working for you.
Yeah, that's what they do in developed world. That's what they do in developed world. When you are able to break barriers, when you do something that they never imagined you could do, rather than you know,
turning you to be the bad person.
They will call you. They will ask. They will make you put them. They will negotiate with you. Do you want to go to prison, or do you want to? Do you understand? Or you tell us how you came about this. And what they do is, I'm not saying that person will not go unpunished, but it will not be. They would have taken that concept from him, then developed him, and probably put it on a life contract. That okay, you are going to be doing this for us, but you will remain with us for life. So I think most of you look at recently we've had some cases of internet fraud, and okay, I want to ask you, where are those people now? Some of them are in foreign lands. I think the government there are beginning to use them positively. But here, what do we have? You know, we condemn everything, and they say an idle man's hand is the devil's workshop. So sometimes we have these talents, and we should stop wasting them. When we discover them or they are caught, we should develop policies where we can also tap from whatever they have invented, or whatever impossibility they have turned to possibility.
Interesting. Let's look from the consumer point of view, because if I log them to a site and I shop and unfortunately I'm scammed, I will assume that is the company that is negligent. So how can customers, what should they watch out for, especially cybercrime, not to fall into the hands of scammers? I use bank, for instance. The moment I click sender's email, and I begin to see funny name at Yahoo, I know Jimmy, no bank will use that. Yeah. But you know that it's not a lot of us that we use it, because the email comes like, this is from this bank, the logo, everything is picture perfect, down right to the full stop. Yeah. But then when you go to the email, then you now say, no, a bank can use gmail.com. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know that. So are there other tips that you can give to customers to watch out for, not to fall into the hands of scammers?
Thank you very much. I think customers need to be very, very careful. They need to adopt the concept of due diligence in anything they do, not only on bank transactions, but in everything we do in life. We must be very careful. For instance, a lot of banks will tell us that whatever message you get, ensure you confirm from your account officer. If you don't know your account officer, you can walk into a bank. For instance, if I get an SMS that say click on this or your account, something, update your account. Why would you click on such? With all the awareness that is on, you can easily walk to your bank the following day and show to them, I received this mail, and they will confirm to you it's not from us. But a lot of us are eager, especially when they say there is a disbursement of some cash. A lot of people will just
or your account has been debited for 6.5 for bulletin.
Everybody will just So we have to be very careful. We don't have to jump at every mail that we see, and I think the awareness is on everywhere. For instance, at one time I've gone to my Facebook page and I put it there. On no account should anybody, if you see any mail, don't attend to it until you get across to me. If you don't call me and you attend to anything, that means you are on your own. So those things are things customers should watch out for, especially with our banks, because a lot of people have been victims. We have a lot of victims. At a point, some people will call you that, okay, something happened, somebody had an accident and they need some amount. A lot of people will just be sending money to who they don't know. So we should not be naive. We should be very careful and discipline ourselves. And another thing is, a lot of us, we are too, when it comes to money, I think the love for money also has a part to play. I think we should just slow down and watch every step we want to take. Due diligence is the watchword.
Another thing I tell my customers, my clients, when I'm advising them, when you're shopping online, one thing with Nigerians, we are very cautious when it comes to putting our card details, buying e-commerce. Once is a Nigerian, we don't have issues with foreign companies. We can do that. So I tell them, watch out for the website. It's www on the browser, but HTTPS. Most e-commerce companies that actually are much more security conscious are supposed to have that HTTPS. Most websites have just HTTP. Most websites, but when it comes to security, it has to have S. So before I begin to even put my card, before you begin to put your card, make sure it has HTTPS. It shows that they've taken extra step in securing that website, so that you be confident in putting your card. So away from business and all that, let's talk about the general security situation. Kidnapping everywhere. You don't need a kidnapping for ransom or for rituals these days. It's just kidnapping everywhere. We can't talk on behalf of the kidnappers, but we can advise ourselves. How can we protect ourselves from, thank God for these NI. So any phone numbers can be traced. Let's hope so. But like hackers, we always seem to find a way around things. But till then, how can we protect ourselves from being victims of these people?
Thank you very much. I think the number one thing we need to do as individuals, as a family, is to live a low-key life. We shouldn't be too flashy. A lot of us, we call unnecessary attention to ourselves by the way we live our life. Fine, we are free. We have freedom to enjoy ourselves and all that. But when you look at the situation per time, you readjust. By the time you're going out, you be careful. You don't display cash. Some of us, maybe you just want to show that we are very rich. At a point in this country, I've seen somebody counting dollars outside. We're in a shopping mall and the guy brought out dollars and was counting openly. If a kidnapper was around at that time, the next thing, So we have to be very careful, live a cautious life. Then we shouldn't be too, like I said, we should watch what we say, our approach, the things we say outside. Let me tell you, these kidnappers, they have agents spread around. Now, before they were kidnapping well-known people, people of timber and caliber, but now they kidnap just anyone. Now they have agents around the time. Our security operatives are doing a wonderful job, I must tell you. To secure Nigeria, man, you need to be up to the task, because Nigeria is so complex. Nigeria is a dynamic country where we have people of different ethnic backgrounds. So the way you think will definitely be different from the way I think. The way what I perceive as good, some people will see it as what's the big deal. So the security operators have to contend with all these things and make sure that their actions does not make the other ethnic group feel cheated or whatever. So, but now, recently when we got tips from the Inspector General of Police, a long list of tips, the number one tip was that whenever we're going out, they even encourage security cameras in our home. When you are going out, if you can afford it, have security cameras. If you cannot afford it, ensure that at least you padlock your gate inward, not outside.
Okay.
A lot of people, when you're going out, you padlock your gate. So when the criminals are around, they will know that, okay, these people are not home. But sometimes when you lock indoor, it sends signals to them that, okay, somebody is around and all that. Then let people know your movement. Let your neighbors know your movement. Some people, they are so classic, so special that they don't even talk to their neighbors. You know, in bank, we say, know your customer, KYT. But now we talk about know your neighbor, know who lives around you. Some of us, a new person will move to our area where we reside, and the person will be coming up with Range Rovers and different exotic cars. We don't even ask, what does this person do for a living? Some landlords, they just take anybody because of money. A young guy comes driving a car worth 50 million naira, and because he has the money to pay, you just give him an apartment. Some of these people are kidnappers, some of people are informants to these devilish agents. So we need to be very, very careful. We need to caution ourselves on how we live our lives, so that we don't fall victim of these dangerous elements, which by God's will will be flushed out of our country very, very soon.
Amen. And finally, of course, we need to be careful how we also render help.
Yes.
Because many people stop on the road because they felt, oh, this person is victim of accident or something, let me help. And by the time you stop,
it could be a trap.
A trap, yeah. So we need to be careful. Thank you very much, Mr. Shodipo. Thanks for coming on board. All right, this brings to the end of this segment, business segment. We go on break, and when we return, we go into sectoral segment where we talk about fish farming. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. Back to the Profit Point Show, and this is the sectoral segment where we're focusing on agri sector. Case in point, fish farming. I have in the studio Mr. David Adewolu, a fish farmer. Good morning. Thank you for coming, sir.
Good morning.
All right. Okay. So let's first begin with the different kind of fishes that someone can choose to farm. I know the common ones are the fresh fish.
Yes.
Yeah, right? So are there other ones that you actually intentionally farm, not go to the sea to actually pick?
You know, traditionally, fish is one of the oldest occupations that people do, and in those days, they don't plow back.
They just
go
in
to the sea or to the water and take. Well, after taking and taking and taking,
nothing to take again.
Nothing to take again. So it means man must begin to look inward and say, look, this is that we are just picking. Over time, the thing will not be there again. No? So people started culturing fishes. You can do catfish. You know the normal catfish.
Yes.
You can do tilapia.
Okay.
That's the one with scaly
back. Skin.
You can do pangasius.
What's that?
Asian catfish. It's not originally in Nigeria.
Oh, okay. But you can do it in Nigeria.
You can do, of course, it's like catfish, normal catfish.
Okay.
But to get the seed is a challenge. Okay. Once you get the seed, it flows.
Okay.
Then you can do ornamental fishes. You know, in those days, you used to have aquarium in the house.
Yes.
Small things.
For decoration of.
For decoration. Those tiny goldfish, those tiny fishes. Somebody can actually go into it and begin to.
What would they use? Do they eat them?
No, you don't eat them. It's ornamental.
Oh,
It's
just
for
for
decoration. People to see and others. There's a lot of money in
That's
nature.
interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought. Okay.
So, catfish in Ogun State, in Nigeria, let me see, Ogun State is the largest producer of catfish.
Wow.
Give it to them.
I always thought it was Lagos. Of
Lagos,
course, there's no land in Lagos, so it can't be Lagos, really.
No. You know, Lagos has water. So, those ones are captured fish.
Okay.
But when you are talking about culturing, you know, raising fish from fingerlings to table size, give it to Ogun State in terms of catfish. And we're doing very well in that area. And that has created a lot of job opportunity for our people. Whether they make profits
Or not.
is another another ball game
Okay.
entirely.
Okay.
But there are challenges. But it's a window that is available for any investor to come into, because there are a lot of opportunities. But the challenges, we are trying to tackle all those challenges as time goes on.
Okay.
The major challenge now is the issue of feed.
We'll come to
I
that.
know.
We'll leave that. Okay, so for a prospective fish farmer, what does the person need to start the fish farm?
Well, majorly, you need water.
Naturally. Obviously.
You need a medium,
Okay.
place that water can stay. And if there's a need for you to drain it, you drain. So you
Okay.
need a medium that can contain water.
So like a pound?
Yeah, you can use concrete pond,
Okay.
plastic, earthen pond. Earthen pond is just ordinary pond, swampy area that you dug, and then you bag it around to avoid collapsing. That's it. A lot of it.
That's
Or you can use cage system. When you go to the high sea, they will construct a cage for you that you place inside the big water body. And then
Okay.
water will go in, so you don't need to supply water, it's just the water. But you have a control,
Over the
in a
fish.
controlled environment.
Okay. What else? So the
That
medium,
medium.
then the
You can use
fingerlings,
plastics.
small
Black-
plastics.
Depending on what you want.
Oh, I'm talking of commercial scale
For
now.
commercial, you need big tanks
Okay.
that can take like 1,000 or 500.
Okay. Okay.
You know, the higher the number that you're able to produce, the better for you because of profit margin. Volume driven. Profit is volume driven because the margin is
Small.
small.
Okay. Okay. So aside that, then of course the fingerlings, right?
Okay, you know,
I'm just assuming. Of course,
there are
the
different
fingerlings.
sectors that
Oh.
you can operate. There is a value chain that you can operate.
Please tell us about the value chain.
You can start with hatchery.
Just
Hatching.
eggs.
Hatching is production of fingerlings.
Okay.
They call it seed. Production of the seed that you are going to introduce into your pond.
Okay.
Somebody can stay in that sector. So my job is to take a male catfish and a female catfish, take the egg, take the spermatozoa of and mix the two together, and then they will hatch, and then you begin to raise them until they become like tadpole, and then become fish-like, and then they become like, okay, juvenile, and then up and up. So
Okay.
people can now come. So your own sector can now be hatchery. People will now begin to come and say, give me 1,000 seeds. That area, the profit margin is good.
Of course, you don't have to feed them for
Yes.
such a long time.
You don't feed them for a long time, and they don't eat
Too
too
much.
much. But the risk is high
Okay.
because those fishes that you have produced can die en masse, and that will be the end. You start all over again, or they may not hatch, and you have expended some money. But it's an area that you can make money if you understand what to do and you are equipped for it.
Okay.
There's water, there is water, and there is water.
Okay. All right. So, aside that, what else?
That's the hatchery.
Okay.
Then you can move ahead and say, look, mine is to raise the seed that I've bought or that I've purchased from somewhere. So you now create a medium. It could be in plastic, it could be in concrete, it could be earthen, that is just ordinary. And then it could be cage system. Cage system is the cage that is constructed and placed inside a big
body of water. Okay.
So then you begin to nurture them, feed them, maintain them, ensure there is water, the temperature is right, everything is right, so that once you do that for a period of, say, like, you'll be measuring weight too, because if you feed, it must translate into flesh. If you are feeding and it does not translate to flesh, then you are throwing your money inside water.
But why would they not eat?
No, they may not convert it. They can eat. If the feed is not good, they will eat.
Or
they
just they are watching their weight.
Or your water, if your water is bad, you put the feed there. You must be able to monitor, scientifically monitor whether your fish is growing or they are not growing. If they are not growing, cut your loss, sell off, and then you start all over again. If you don't do that, you are throwing water away. You are throwing your money
inside
away.
water.
Exactly.
Wow, interesting.
So that's another.
Okay.
Another sector. Another sector is, okay, I've produced the fish now. I need to add value. Because if you're keeping the fish inside water, it must eat too. So, and over time, the more they will begin to reduce, they won't be converting their food into flesh over time. So, and it's flesh, you sell packaging. So if it does not gain weight and you are feeding, you are throwing away money again.
That's true.
So you must exit at some point. Exiting means you sell. Once you sell, your investment return back to you. If you don't sell and the fish is, you must feed them. If you don't do that,
they will die, of course.
They won't die. They will
without
be
eating?
You must feed. No, you must feed. If you don't feed them, if it's eating point, they will still be picking some few things and they will be there, but they will become thin and shrink. They will begin to shrink and all the rest of it. So the best thing is to exit. Exit by selling or exit by processing.
Okay.
So farmer now begins to process. How do you process? You can turn your catfish by drying them. You can ice them and sell in the open market. But drying requires a process. So you need to, somebody can stay at that level and say, look, my own job is to do what? To process fish that a farmer has produced. So you buy from the farmer, you bring to your factory, and you process and you package. And once you package, a shelf life of 6 months, so it's not eating anything until you sell.
Of course,
so you are home and dry. So that's the way it works.
Okay.
Somebody can say, look, all of these things that you are doing, I'm not even interested. My own is to sell. You go to the farmer, buy the fish. We call them fishmongers.
Mongers?
Yes. Buy the fish, bring to the market, sell, take their profits. Off they go. It's a job, full-time job, and it's highly profitable because the fish industry as we have it today is not well structured.
Okay.
The fishmongers are the one telling you the price at which you should sell.
You have to take the price.
But it shouldn't be that way, because I know what goes into my production before I can get it. So if I'm able to produce and said, my cost is 700 per kg. And I said, 700 already. How much will I sell?
Okay.
And you are coming and saying, well, it's either you deal at 720 or 730. See, you can see the. Then he will now take that 1 kg to the market and sell for 900.
So he's the one making the profit.
So those challenges are there, and by the grace of God, we are going to solve those challenges. And I can tell you now that the big players are coming into the industry now. People go into deep sea, the cage system, doing big dams, and producing massively for consumption.
Okay, we have little time left. Can we just talk about just one challenge? Just one challenge.
Yes.
I know there are many.
The major challenge, you are in business to make profit. The major challenge is after water and all the rest. Feed. The cost of feed is so high now. In fact, feed constitutes close to 75% of your cost. So, once the feed price goes up, farmers will panic. And that is the position we are in now today. So, we are calling on government to help us find a way to reduce the cost of feed. And the feed is a composition of so many elements. Maize, sorghum, GNC, and fish meal. So government can come in and help us, and a lot of people can come into the industry is wide open, so that the unemployment in the country can be reduced.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. David, and I pray that the government answers in time.
Yeah, they will.
All right. This brings us to the end of the Profit Point Show. The show returns same time next week, Thursday, 11 a.m. Same station, of course, OG TV. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you.